So there was a electric, that means load shedding was there for a short period, so that is why all of a sudden electricity was okay. So due to that could not. Okay, so now I think only few are there, only two students are there. Anyhow, I am going to continue with that as I promised you earlier also. So now the second part we will discuss is decolonization. The second part is decolonization, and within decolonization only one we have to do, only one topic we have to do, that is from China. Okay, only from China. Decolonization in, okay, just a minute, Ghana, and what you call it, one more topic is there that we don't have to do, only one we have to do, that is China. Okay, so okay, 10 students are back. Thank you very much for joining it. So from here, like decolonization in China, you have to go through, the most important thing is the reason for the success of communist in China. Okay, on the other hand, failure. Why did KMT party failed, or why did Chinese communist become successful? That we have to go through it. So from within this book, like you know that China was very much far away from all those European countries, but later on slowly European powers came knocking on the doors of China, and then was brought under the direct control of Europeans also. And many of the Chinese students got an opportunity to go to foreign countries and study, and when they returned back they wanted to establish a republican government, and under the leadership of Sun Yat-sen, who was a doctor of medicine, he became successful in forcing the Empress of China to abdicate the throne. That was successful due to Sun Yat-sen and his effort. Okay, so that is okay. Now, like Kuomintang party. So as you know that Sun Yat-sen was the one who started a KMT party, Kuomintang party. Okay, so after Sun Yat-sen, the responsibility was given to Yun Sai-kai, who was a military general, and but later on it was known that he was not happy with Yun Sai-kai, because he wanted to re-establish the old dynastic system which was prevailing in China earlier. So they wanted to bring it back, but before Sun Yat-sen could take any action, he died. Okay, and after that we know that Chiang Kai-shek also came to power. So after Sun Yat-sen's death in 1925, Chiang Kai-shek came to power and he became the leader of the KMT party. Okay, all these things are in short. Okay, he became the leader of KMT party, but slowly and gradually, you know that he came to know that communism is gaining more ground in KMT party. So he wanted to get rid of this communist party from China. Okay, he hated the communists very much, though they got much help from Soviet Russia, but he was not at all in support or favor of Chinese Communist Party. So one more topic is here, Long March. Why was Long March undertaken? Tick mark. Why was Long March undertaken? Okay, what is the special feature of Long March? Okay, so it is mentioned, no, that it was a historic march in the history of China. Historic march in the history of China, because communists were chased by KMT party under Chiang Kai-shek. Okay, and in order to save themselves from the KMT party, Mao Zedong, who was the leader, he undertook long march, and that long march was so long, my dear, that it had to cover 6,000 miles, and in between the 6,000 miles, 18 mountain ranges, 24 rivers they had to cross and proceed to heavy fighting and all. And when they reached there, only 20,000 communists survived. Okay, though this seemed that communists completely failed, but that time itself there was attack from Japan. Japan had attacked China, and during this time KMT party and the Communist party, they came together and fought against Japan, and they became successful also. Okay, they became successful. Now whose government was established. You know that KMT party was there with the republican form of government in China, but slowly and gradually communists became successful. Now the reason is why, how, why did the communists become successful and why did KMT party fail? Very very simple, my dear. KMT party lost the support of the people, mostly the poor peasants and the farmers. No, they did not support. Lot of corruption had entered into the KMT party. The KMT officers, leaders, they were attracted to all, lead to hold important offices and all. Corruption had entered into KMT party, and on the other hand, communists had gained ground. Communists had gained ground, getting the support of the poor masses and the peasants. Okay, that is why they became successful. Situation was not at all favorable for the KMT party. Do you know why? Because the base of any party depends upon the strength of the masses, and masses were slipping out gradually on the side of a communist party because of corruption. Okay, because of corruption, nobody was there to solve the problems at all. That is why one by one KMT was losing its ground. So in your book also there is a answer given, causes of the communist victory. Okay, so first thing is that KMT army faced a set Japanese attack, number one. Okay, Chiang Kai-shek and the KMT party were discredited with the corruption, inefficiency, corrupt government, inefficient government, the landlords, okay, industrialist class, whereas Communist party got the support of the poor masses, the poor peasants and all. Okay, so these were some of the reasons for the success of so this one you remember from this chapter, what were the causes of communist China. Okay, and finally in 1949 communists became successful in establishing People's Republic of China, and China completely went into the hands of the communists. 1949. Okay, so that means 2 years after India's independence, China also became completely free from KMT and all. Okay, and communist regime was established. Now from here onward, when Chinese communists gained power, what did they do? First of all, agriculture was revived. Number two, industrialization was also reformed. Okay, in the heavy industries were given much importance. And then from here, okay, 100 flowers campaign, tick mark. If you have pen and pencil with you, tick mark in your book, 100 flowers campaign, you have to go through that. What was 100 flowers campaign? Let me explain you. As you know, the Chinese government was setting up their plan with the 5 years plan. Every 5 years, you know, in India we have a Niti Aayog and all, they plan for 5 years. So planning commission, they have come up, but that planning commission was not at all working smoothly. That is why they now wanted the involvement of the masses to come up with constructive criticism, give ideas to the government how to improve the economy of the country. Just like government now became ready, they now are ready to listen to the ideas of the people. And that program launched by them was known as 100 Flowers campaign. Okay, they invited more and more people to come forward. Okay, they wanted more and more people to come forward with their constructive criticism. Constructive, what am I doing? If I am wrong, but that means you have to point it out so that I can correct myself. The constructive criticism. But this constructive criticism became so high that that the government itself now thought that this is going to ruin our working system. That is why, what did they do? They decided to clamp down this criticism. Whoever were talking much regarding government, they started to pinpoint the weaknesses of the government. Okay, cadres, they said they were corrupt. Cadres, the workers of the Communist Party are known as cadres. Okay, and they even told the government that the government power is completely centralized and all. That means instead of constructive criticism, the criticism was excess. It was beyond the expectation of the government. That is why this was completely stopped. This was completely clamped down. Okay, it was brought down. Did you understand? So 100 flower campaign is very very simple, allowing the peoples to come forward with the views of constructive criticism. When they started criticizing the government, then the government realized this way we cannot work smoothly, this way we cannot work smoothly, so they decided to stop this 100 flowers campaign. Okay, now this one. Now another one is that clear? 100 flowers campaign, tick mark, tick mark, tick mark. 100 flowers campaign. Then one more is there from this chapter. What were the causes over 100 flowers campaign? Yes, 100 flowers campaign over. Anything you want to ask from this chapter? Anyone? Just mention it. Anyone? Are students there or not? Or simply I am speaking, nobody is watching. What is this? They are there, no? Okay, cultural revolution. Okay, wait. Cultural revolution, Shobha. Okay, I'll explain that also. Cultural revolution. This is also important. Okay, so you know, Great Leap Forward. Great Leap Forward. There is a program, Great Leap Forward. Collectivization of farms and all. Okay, so related to that only, cultural revolution. So this revolution was initiated by Mao Zedong. Okay, after the failure of a Great Leap. What is the full form of GLF? You might be asked, what is the full form of GLF? Great Leap Forward. Okay, so when this Great Leap Forward completely failed, okay, then what happened? There was a fear of revolution. There was a fear of revolution. That is why, in order to stop all this thing, they started. They gave the responsibility to the youths and the students. Okay, important youths and students to claim down those people who go against the government. Those who go against the government. Okay, so like. Okay, before this, let me explain you. Before this, China got maximum support and help from Soviet Russia, managerial skill, funds also provided by Russia also. Okay, but though it doesn't mean that he was inclined towards Russian communism, it was not like that. He launched a cultural revolution in order to appeal the masses, okay, to come forward. Let us work together with the cadres and the experts. Cadres are the party workers. So let us all work together. Let us all work together. Okay. So he launched a campaign to save the revolution. Okay. In 1964, now see here, date, underline it. 1964, Mao claimed that literary and artistic circles have behaved for the last 50 arrogant. That means the illiterate people, the educated class, they have behaved like a arrogant people. They did not at all identified with workers and the peasants. So they wanted to claim down completely. They wanted to claim down this completely. Okay. So in 1966, certain party leaders, they made in Peking and attacked the pro-capitalist approach of Chinese communism. Okay. So one part is mentioned over here. So many of the people were in dilemma whether to follow the communist ideology or not. Okay, whether that is going to suit their functioning or not. That is why cultural revolution was started by Mao Zedong to bring all the people together and work together, but that could not become successful. Okay, so Great Leap Forward policy, as you know, was completely a yes. Please continue. No, sir. Yeah, I'm continuing. Okay, please, if I concentrate there and again here, problem will be there. Okay, cultural revolution, is that clear? Cultural revolution. And one more thing, my dear, this during this cultural revolution, students, okay, mostly the students who were also known as Red Guards, they played a very important role. They were given free hand, free travel passes, travel wherever you want, but claim down the mouth or stop those who are against the government. Whoever goes against or protests against the government must be stopped, but this red what you call it, red guard became out of control. Okay, they were completely out of control. They even started killing their own killing the own, that means the communist party members also. Okay, so that is why this has to be brought down. This red guard completely went out of control and they became a extremist, and many of the red guard were also arrested. Okay, from this chapter only this much. From this chapter this much only we have to study. Okay, only one chapter, that is decolonization in China. Only China. Once again, let me remind you what were the causes of communist victory. Okay, 100 hours campaign, great leap forward, and the last one, cultural revolution. This much only you have to go through it. Okay. Now next one, Cold War. You want Cold War or shall I stop this? I think you are bored now. Yes, Tripti Singh, from which chapter? The chapter which I taught right now, Communist, Decolonize China. Are you asking from past? You want to ask anything related to this chapter? Now I am going to move on to Cold War if you want, otherwise I am going to end it. Nikita Mary. Okay, no problem. Just another half an hour I'll be there with you. Okay. Okay, let's start with Cold War then. Okay. So what are the important topics? Which are the important topics which you have to prepare from Cold War? Okay. Okay, Cold War. So from Cold War, first of all, you need to go through Yalta Conference. I think you all have gone through it. Yalta Conference. Okay, one of the most important conference in which it was decided that Germany would be divided into 4 parts. Okay, then Potsdam Conference. It was the last conference of the war period, and during this time only atom bomb was dropped. Okay, after that entire scenario was completely changed. Okay, and the reason for the Cold War was the dropping of atom bomb also. Okay, okay, now here is a fight between Russia on one side and America on one side. Okay, during the Cold War, what was Cold War? If you are asked define Cold War, what will be your definition? It's very simple. Okay, Cold War was neither a war, neither a peace. It was a hot peace. It was a peace. That means war fought without weapons. Okay, so you know China, what do you call it? Russia is a communist country. America is a democratic country. So there is an ideological clash also. There is a vast difference between Russian communism and American democracy. Okay, and 1917, okay, when Russian revolution started in Russia, America, Japan, and many other countries, they have sent their forces there, okay, to stop communism. Okay, that is something different. Yalta Conference, some of the important points of Yalta Conference, please go through it. Now Potsdam Conference. Potsdam Conference was, what was the decision taken in the Potsdam Conference? Okay, Yalta Conference, one most important decision taken was that Germany would be divided into 4 that means zones, each under the control of America, Britain, France and Russia. Okay, then Yalta Conference. The fate of Germany was decided in the Yalta Conference. What will be the future of Germany was to be decided. Then UN would be formed. That also was decided in the Yalta Conference. Then Potsdam Conference. Potsdam Conference. So what was discussed in the Potsdam Conference? Point it out. When and where, whether, or okay, let me make it more clear, whether these 4 zones would be united in future or not. When they are going to unite. That means Germany was divided into 4 zones. When are they going to be united? Okay, what about the German Nazis? As you know, the German Nazis were banned and were to be tried as war criminals. So all these discussions were taken place in the Potsdam Conference. Okay, and during this time only atom bomb was dropped upon Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Important topics from this chapter. Yes, I'm going through it. Yalta Conference, just go through it. Potsdam Conference, just go through it. Okay, now the most important topic is Truman Doctrine. What was Truman Doctrine? What was Marshall Plan? What was Truman Doctrine? What was Marshall Plan? What was Molotov Plan? What were the objectives of Truman Doctrine? What were the objectives of Marshall Plan? So the objectives of Molotov Plan, Marshall Plan was to help the countries financially. Okay, for this Truman, the President of America, had requested the US Congress to sanction $400 million to help the countries who were suffering financially. Greece and Turkey were the one to get the help through Marshall Plan also. Okay, so Marshall Plan was the extension of Truman Doctrine. Marshall Plan was the extension of Truman Doctrine. Okay, why are they coming up with this plan? Very simple. America wanted to stop the spread of communism. America wanted to stop the spread of communism. Okay, they wanted to stop the spread of communism. That is why Truman Doctrine, funds to be given to those countries who are suffering financially. Then again, this extension version was a Marshall Plan in 1947. Okay, Cold War. Tripti Singh, where are you? I'm discussing Cold War. Okay, Marshall Plan. Then Molotov Plan. Do you know that many of the communist countries, they wanted to avail the facilities of Marshall Plan, but under the pressure of USSR they did not. So in order to provide the satellite zones of Russia, Molotov Plan was started. Okay, so Molotov Plan, which tried to help the satellite countries, satellite states of Russia financially. Okay, okay, then Truman Doctrine. Okay, communist takes over Czechoslovakia. This point also go through it. Communist takes over Czechoslovakia. Okay, let communist takes over Czechoslovakia. Molotov Plan is over. No, communist takes over Czechoslovakia, not required. Truman Doctrine done, Marshall Plan. So question is, what were the main objectives of Truman Doctrine? What were the main objective of Marshall Plan? Again, same question, what were the objectives of Molotov Plan? Okay. Then is Cominform, Communist Information Bureau. Then, okay, now, Communist takes over Czechoslovakia, not required. Communist takes over Czechoslovakia, not required. Now directly move on to Berlin Blockade. Berlin Blockade. You know that like Germany, Berlin, the capital city of Germany, also was divided into 4 parts. And this entire Berlin was on the side of Russian zone. Okay. So what happened? 2 important things. Number 1, there was a vast contrast between the prosperity of people living in Russian zone and the other zone. Okay. Other side development were taking place, but this side development was not taking place. So the people of East Germany, they wanted to go that side, but they were not allowed. Okay, number 1. Number two, Western powers, they introduced a currency, a different currency, and Russian government was not ready to have 2 currencies in the same territory. Okay, that is why, due to this, in order to avoid this type of thing, Berlin was completely blocked through all the routes. Okay, Berlin was completely blocked, and for another few months, okay, let me tell you, unable. Okay, for another few months, the Western powers supplied them food supplies from air. Okay, and finally in 1949, Russia was compelled to withdraw the blockade. So this one. Okay, Berlin Blockade. Why was Berlin blocked? This is the question. Then, where it is? Berlin. Okay, NATO. Do you know why? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. North Atlantic Treaty Organization was a defense organization set up. All the armies were joined, and the objective was one, to save those countries, member nations, from the communist aggression. And the mantra was, attack on one nation would be regarded as attack on all the nation. Attack on one nation would be regarded as the attack on all the nation. Okay, is that clear? NATO, when was NATO formed? 1949. Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Britain, Iceland, Italy, USA, all this formed NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Okay, and then next one was NATO. Okay, Warsaw Pact also, let me tell you, but not important. Warsaw was a similar agreement reached between the communist countries. That means they also had the same objective. Attack on one nation would be taken as an attack on all the nation. Chapter 12. Which chapter? Name the chapter. Chapter number. Chapter 12. Over. Warsaw Pact. Then division of Germany. Okay, then directly move on to, okay, go through the thaw also, cooling down. What is mean by thaw? Thaw is a temporary cooling down. Okay, from this chapter not much important, and rest nothing. Vietnam War and all not required. Okay, no need to go through the Vietnam War and all. So Cold War over. Anything you want to ask? I'm going now to move on to the last chapter. Okay, let us move on to the next chapter. Now the next chapter is keep it here. Okay, protest movement. Protest movement is also there. From protest movement, what you have to do you know? Shall we go through protest movement or shall we skip this? Tell me. If you are bored, I'll just skip this part. Okay, from protest movement. Israel-Palestine conflict. I'll come after finishing this. Okay, important topics. Okay. So from protest movement, contribution of Martin Luther King. And one more, campaign for equal rights. Okay, role of Martin Luther. So you know the protest movement started from Montgomery buses, no? Rosa Parks was not allowed to sit in the Montgomery buses, and then the protest started, and then segregation also started. Okay, so that you can go through it very in short, and question definitely will come from the contribution of Martin Luther King, or explain the role or what role was played by Martin Luther King. Okay, it was due to his effort only the boycott of Montgomery buses brought certain results. Due to his effort only, desegregation in public buses was started. Okay, he was also awarded with Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Okay, go through that. Okay, only this much. Okay, the last part. Okay, feminist movement is also there. These are the easy chapters. You just go through it. Okay, easy chapter like role of Betty Friedan, role of now. Okay, and then equal rights amendment. That you go through it. Okay, you can. This is the easy chapter. You can go through it. Role of Betty Friedan. He wrote a book, Feminine Mystique. Okay, role of now in the campaign for equal rights for women. Okay, the last chapter. Okay. You sit outside. No problem. Okay, shall we start the last chapter? Okay, conflicting. Okay, conflict. Now Palestine. You know the history of Palestine well. History of Palestine. Palestine is a biblical name. Chapter Decolonization. I already told the important question. Chapter Decolonization. China is also important. Only China. What were the causes of Chinese success? Okay, 100 Flowers campaign, cultural revolution. Is that clear, Tripti? Okay. Shall we move on? Okay. Uh, okay. Palestine, you know, is a biblical name, and Arabian Peninsula, land surrounded by water from three sides. Land surrounded by water from three sides is known as peninsula. Arab is a land surrounded from three sides. Palestine, a small part within Arabian territory where Jews lived. Where Jews lived. Okay, Jews, they have a separate religion, they have their separate God. Okay, their lifestyle is different, but they lived in minority. Long time back, during the rule of Egyptian rule pharaohs, pharaohs were known as the kings of Egypt. They had driven out large number of Jews from Palestine, and these Jews scattered in different parts of the world. Mostly they were in Europe also. You know, Jews, the story of Jews in Germany, how they were treated in Germany. Okay, so this is the story of Jews. Don't skip. uh Development. Okay, two important things: Balfour Declaration, Hussein McMahon letter. Hussein McMahon letter. So you know that Turkish rule. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. Okay. You know that though these Jews had scattered in different parts of the world, they did not forget to teach their children their culture, their religion. Everything was taught to them. They kept the Jews united, and the aspiration of their homeland was never out of their mind. They, whenever they met in any of the religious ceremonies, functions, and all, they always kept this discussion alive that we need to go back to their homeland, that is Palestine. Palestine was the homeland of Jews, though maximum fled away, but very less they lived in minority, that is in Palestine. Okay, as you know that the Palestinians, that means the Jews were very much diplomats. They were highly qualified, highly educated. They settled in different parts of the world. They had a very good communication with the existing government of Britain as well as America. Okay, so it was the credit of uniting the Jews goes to a German priest. His name was Rabbis. Okay, he united all the what do you call it Jews living together, and then they now started to raise their demand for a separate, that means a homeland Palestine, once again with full swing. Okay, now the time came that with the outbreak of First World War, when the First World War broke, British government convinced the King Hussein of Makkah that do one thing, you raise a jihad against the Turkish rule, free yourself from Turkish rule, and King Hussein, you will be made the king of Mecca. Okay, promise was done, and they started the jihad, and they freed themselves from Turkish rule also. Okay, so there is a term called Hussein McMahon letter. King Hussein, okay, King Hussein and McMahon, okay. So there, when whatever conversation, whatever exchange of letters were done, that came to be known as Hussein McMahon letters, because at the time phones were not there. So letters were written by Hussein, letters were written by McMahon also. So this way the exchange of dialogues took place. Okay, so the first contradiction was that after the First World War, Hussein McMahon was to be made the king of Mecca. Okay, that was clear. But on the other hand, one more incident took place, that Jews were also promised the homeland, because the Jews bankers had supported British government a lot with financial aids and all. That is why they were also promised the homeland, that is Palestine. So Palestine is a part of Arab, and Hussein McMahon is promised the entire Arabian land. So they were not ready to accept Jews on their land. So this contradiction created a cleavage between the Arabians and the Jews. Okay, after the Second World War, do you know what happened? Large number of Jews started to go to Palestine, Palestine, that is in their own homeland, and the Arabians were not ready to accept them in their territory. So the clash started between the Arabs and the Jews. So there is a topic called Arab-Israel War. No, so in 1948, Arab contradiction and Israelis demand brought up with a new state of Israel. A small part of Palestine was given to Jews as their homeland. That was a very small part was given to them. That was known as Palestine, Israel. Okay. So 1948, Israel was born. With the birth of Israel, many of the Jews living in different parts of the world, they started to go to Palestine. They went, they settled there. Okay, but Arabians, they were not ready to tolerate them, so frequent clashes were there. Okay, so now remember, this is the reason they wanted their homeland, and Arabians, they are not ready to accept these Jewish people on their land. Okay, number one issue is there. Now next one is Egypt, Syria, Jordan. Ruler changed in their countries. In Egypt, Syria, Jordan, ruler changed, and now they were not ready to tolerate Palestinians there, Israelis over there. So they decided to crush Israel completely. Okay, so that is why they started a war. So two important wars are there. 6 days war. 6 days war. What is 6 days? Within 6 days, combined forces of Iraq, Syria, Jordan, okay, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Egypt were defeated within how many days? 6 days. Within 6 days, they were completely defeated. So a small portion of Palestine was given to Jews, as Israel slowly and gradually started becoming bigger and bigger. Okay, still they were not happy. That means who? The Arabian countries were not happy. Once again, Yom Kippur War. Yom Kippur is the name of the festival. It was a time when the soldiers were busy celebrating the Yom Kippur festival, and that was a time they chose to attack the Israelis. Okay, they attacked after much difficulty. They managed to get up their arms, and they retaliated, and they became successful. There also Israelis became successful. Okay, Israelis completely became successful. Clear? So 6 days war and Yom Kippur War. What were the causes of 6 days war, and which countries were involved in 6 days war? Yes, Iraq, Syria, Egypt. Okay. These were the only countries: Egypt, Jordan, Syria. Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq also later on joined in the Yom Kippur War. Okay, so causes and the results of 6 days war, causes and results of the Yom Kippur War, that you have to go through it from this chapter. What were the causes of Arab-Israel conflict? This question is also there. Okay, what is Balfour Declaration? Now Camp David Accord, who signed, between whom was a treaty signed in 1979, Camp David Accord. Who signed the Camp David Accord? So it was between Jimmy Carter, Sadat and Beginning. Okay, this much. Nothing much is required from this chapter. Okay, one question is there. Give any two consequences of Suez War of 1956. Results of Suez War. The war. Okay, that is in the specimen question also. And I strongly suggest you to go through. Yeah, Jordan, yeah. Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Syria also later on. So do you all have the specimen paper of semester 2? There are a few questions are very important also, that you can go through it. Okay, 6 days war over. Egypt, Jordan, Syria also joined later on. Okay, Yom Kippur War. These are the important countries involved in the war. Egypt, this side on the western side, Jordan on the eastern side, northern side Syria. Okay, and just next to what you call it, is Israel is Jordan. The river Jordan is the one which divides Jordan and Israel. Okay, 20. Okay, one more topic is there. Let me see whether it is there or not. Arab-Israel conflict done. 6 days war, Yom Kippur War. Okay, then origin and formation of PLO. PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. Okay, Oslo Accord, in Intifada, and the change in attitude of Israel. Intifada. All this we don't require. Okay. Okay, thank you, children. So this much I could do in a short period, because the whole course of 6 months cannot be done within 1 hour. Hope this might have helped you a lot. If not, also tell me. If yes, also tell me. Okay, now over. Now tell me if you want anything to ask. Now I am going to wind up. Yes, Ahar Hassan. Yes, Ahar Hassan. Sir, can you explain? Go to start of. Okay, so those you can watch it in the earlier video, which I had to stop. No, that I had already completed that in the previous live. In the previous live video, the full World War is discussed. You can go through that. Last chapter important. I told you, no, Arab-Israel conflict, 6 days war, causes and result. Yom Kippur War, causes and result. Okay, Tripti. Yeah, Sujat sir, what all is important? Arab-Israel conflict. I told you, no. 6 days war, Yom Kippur War. Go through that. Suez crisis. Anything else? I'm reading out your comments now. Tell me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anime Sharma, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Hope this had helped you a lot because I wanted to take a long session, but due to electricity failure repeatedly, so mood is also spoiled. Okay, can you repeat the policies of Hitler once more? Okay, unknown singer. It is already there in the previous video, the whole chapter. Please go through that. Okay, I have because live in the live session I started that one. That you can go through it. Unknown singer. You can go to the previous one, previous live video. Okay, second wave of feminist. Okay, second wave of feminist. Somebody wants it with second wave of feminist. I told you, no, feminist movement, mostly civil right movement, suffrage movement. Wait. So remember, from the feminist movement, I told you, no, Betty Friedan's book Feminist Mystique brought a lot of awareness among the people. Okay, it is not there in the channel. Wait, wait. Previous live video. It is there. Okay, Sumit, after completing this small explanation, I'll change the thumbnail. Okay, thumbnail part 1, part 2. That because both the thumbnails are same, that's why confusion is there. Earlier part is also there. The first part of the live session is also there, but thumbnail is similar. That is why it is confusing. Okay, let me finish it, then I'll change it. Betty Friedan, book Feminine Mystique. Who wrote the book Feminine Mystique? It is Betty Friedan. He was one of the great, what do you call it, revolutionary who brought changes in the minds of the women through her writings. Okay, civil right movement was started by this feminist. Earlier, right to vote was not allowed. Okay, right to vote, right to franchise was also not there, and then they started this movement. That means it was an awareness movement among the. Just a minute, okay. Just give me 2 seconds. Yes. Okay, you can see here. Feminist movement, also known as women's movement. So women's liberation. Women's movement, they wanted to liberate themselves, okay, from domestic violences, maternity leave, okay, equal pay, women's suffrage. Suffrage means freedom, sexual harassment, and all so much of things. So when women face, they wanted to free themselves from those type of suffering, and for that the movement was launched, and that movement became more and more successful with the involvement of great artists and all. Okay, Elizabeth Seton, you might have heard about her. Okay, it was Elizabeth Seton. A convention, a meeting was held in a Silicon Fall. Okay, Silicon Fall, New York, on August 1848. So from there, people, women started to gather, and then people started to know about the problems of the women, and they started a movement for the civil rights. Civil right means they are also a civilian, equal, because women is not separated from men, so they also have certain rights which they also demanded. Okay, and for that they need to highlight those problems in front of the government, then only that will be brought into the account. Okay. Initially, the campaign was against domestic violence. Okay, then slowly and gradually they started moving on with many more problems of other women that also was brought together. Okay, so Betty Friedan, you might have heard about Betty Friedan. He wrote a book, Feminine Mistake. He wrote a book, Feminine Mistake. So question, who wrote a feminine mistake? Okay, so this is how, my dear, equal pay for equal right movement was started in 1963. Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. Then the most important thing was that now National Organization of Women was started, and this National Organization of Women played a very important role in highlighting the issues of the women and getting their rights passed in the form of a act. Okay, so this is about now, role of now. Okay, go through it now. I am also tired now. Let me see whether, okay, live is going on, 15 are watching. Okay, then thank you everyone for tolerating me. Due to electricity failure, I could not continue the same live stream. So live stream is divided into two parts. First part, when I completed, electricity was cut off, then again continued from the second live stream. So thank you very much, children. So if you want during political science also, I may come live to clear your doubts if you want. Otherwise, simply why to waste your time as well as mine time, isn't it? And please, those who are here in my channel, if you have not subscribed it till now, please do subscribe it. What is there in subscribing? If you support me, it will help other students also. Share it. Okay. Tripti Singh, thank you very much. Video was helpful. Okay. Sujat, helpful video. Anyhow, if your exam will be good, I'll be happy with that. Okay. I'm reading out your what you call it, chats now. Let me see what all you have written. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Everybody is thanking me. Okay, few of the questions are there in my channel. Please go through that, revise it. Okay. Okay, 16 are watching now. Okay then, children, thank you very much. You all have been very patiently listening to me. Thank you. Okay, thank you, children. Bye, take care, and all the best for a history exam. No need to worry, no need to panic. Simply keep your heart and mind strong and prepare according to the syllabus. Okay, syllabus will help you a lot. No need to study anything extra. For my students, I have given you the notes. Please refer that one. Okay, go through the notes properly. Okay, I have given the notes of all the chapters to all my students. Okay, now those notes are not with me also. Okay then, bye, take care. हाँ, आज बहुत गर्मी है यूट्यूब. Yes, bye, it's fun life. Bye. Bye everyone, take care, stay safe, it's very hot, take care of yourself. Bye.